Alrighty, so in this video we are going to start building a quiz in our course in the Adapt platform. So I've already got my sandbox course here. I'm going to go ahead and access that. And since this is a brand new course, there are no assignments associated with it. I'll actually back up here just to show you what it looks like if there are. So here's an example of a course where I have actually created assignments. So once you build assignments, they will show up here and you can access them from there. But I'm going to start with this fresh course, and up at the top I will click on New Assignment. And just like when we were building a course with the assignments, it's going to ask a number of questions here as you build this assignment. And not everything here needs to be filled in, but I'll do my best to explain the important parts. So first, we're giving the assignment a name. One thing I'll encourage you to do, both with assignments, and this will also come later with quiz questions, is I would recommend that you give the name, when choosing a name for these things, I would try to pick a name that is somewhat self-explanatory, in that if you choose to share this content with someone else, that the name will mean something to them. So what I would not do is I would not just call this, quiz 10. That might mean something to me, but if somewhere down the road I want to share this quiz with another faculty member, quiz 10 doesn't really mean anything to them. Instead, I would recommend that you give it a bit of a self-explanatory name. So in this case, I will name it something appropriate. Next, we have the public description. This would be to give more information to your learners about what this assignment is. Oh, actually, hold on. I realize I just said course. This is an assignment, not a course. Let me back up for just a moment. Dominic's Sandbox example assignment. Okay, there we go. Public description. This would be information about the assignment for your learners to see. So if there's like overall instructions that you want learners to see for this assignment, that is where you would populate it. Private description, just like with courses, this is a note to yourself, information that might be helpful that only you will see. Assignment group. You do need to specify an assignment group for this assignment. And it's entirely up to you which one you pick. You can also create your own group if you would like. This is just an organizational structure for your assignments. In this case, I'll just call it a quiz. Source, internal or external, you can just leave this at the default as internal. Scoring type, performance or completion, this is kind of up to you. If you do want to keep track of learner performance or learner's activity and assign out points, you can choose whether you want the points they earn to be based upon correct answers or based upon they just went through it regardless of how well they did. That's really the difference between performance and completion. Next, points per question. Again, just some more granular options for how you award points. After that, we have the default points per question value that we can set. Assessment type for next-gen for the next-gen NCLEX question types, I would say that real-time graded assessments should be appropriate in pretty much all situations. We want to basically award points immediately upon submission. Number of allowed attempts. This is an option that you can choose. How many times the learners can attempt the quiz, up to an unlimited number of times. Can view hint. I would say that you could leave this off in most cases, since we're not really using the hint functionality with the next gen question types. Solutions availability. This is to specify whether or not a learner can see the correct answer after they submit. I would say that with the next-gen questions, we have set them up in such a way that after a learner submits their response, they immediately know how they did. So by default, we encourage that the solutions be automatically available to learners. Algorithmic is not applicable, so you don't need to worry about that. Late policy, I mean, if you do want to incorporate that functionality into your ADAPT assignments, you certainly can. It's an option that is available if you want to do that. Include in final score. This becomes more applicable if you're using ADAPT a lot and you've got some quizzes that are optional, whereas others are more important and summative. It's up to you whether or not you want to change that setting. Randomizations, by default, this is set to a no, and you don't really have to change this. In fact, I probably would not change this, given that a lot of the next-gen questions build upon previous steps, so we typically don't want to shuffle the questions. Notifications you can leave to off, I would say, especially if you're going to connect this to an LMS. You're already using notifications in your LMS, so you probably don't need to have separate notifications within ADAPT as well. Assign to, you do need to set this, and I would recommend that you just set it to everybody. That is typically going to be the option that you want, so I'll just set that there. And then lastly, the due date and availability date. You do need to set these, and you do need to make sure that the due date is sometime in the future from the availability date. I'll just set it way in the future there. And then that's it. So I can go ahead and click on Save, and my course is now created. So that is how you build a course in ADAPT. Again, I'll point out that if at some point you do want to change some of those settings, did I say course? I meant to say assignment. That's how you build an assignment in ADAPT. And just like with courses, if you do want to change the settings for an assignment, you can do so over here on the right by clicking on the gear. That will show you the same information that we just went through. And if at some point you're going to show a whole bunch of quizzes that are in your course to students, and maybe you want to hide some of those, you can do so by hitting this little switch here to hide a quiz from learners who are browsing your course. But for now, I'll go ahead and just leave that on. So that's how you add an assignment. And in the next video, we'll look at how to start adding questions to your assignments.